Welcome back to Scissors and Scrubs. I'm Nichole.
I'm Laura.
So we're like, I don't know, we're in May, and I don't know when those astronauts landed, but it was a couple of months ago.
March,
and at the time, we thought, let's do a podcast on what happens to people in space. But here we are 2 months later. So we're finally covering what's going to happen to the human body in space, because we're watching it, and they pull them out on backboards. They stand them up and sit them immediately into a chair and wheel them away. And we're like, things you just don't think of because there's no gravity up there.
Right.
And they had no gravity for 8 months. And apparently that wreaks havoc on your body. So today's topic is space on the body.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. So I got my info from Baylor College of Medicine and NASA because I'm wicked fucking smart. All right. The number one problem up there is space radiation. We are all exposed to radiation here on Earth, but astronauts' radiation is 10 times anything we are exposed to, which obviously it's higher levels and different types of radiation. I don't know what kind of we're exposed to here. Whatever's up there is varied. That sun's just shooting off some weird shit.
Yeah, I mean, you're awfully close.
You're awful close to the sun. Imagine the tan. How fast
it looks so good.
Talk about summer in the 80s. All right, so some spare radiation is, it's impossible to shield against. So even though they have all these precautions up there, they're still taking on radiation because it's space.
Yeah.
So we know that radiation on Earth leads to higher risks of cancer and degenerative diseases. They are studying what this happens with the astronauts because it's going to take a while to show the long-term effects because it's not like we've been spending time in space for weeks for a long time. It's only been, last 20 years that people have been up in the space station. Usually they went up and they came down. So some astronauts have experienced radiation sickness, central nervous system effects, and obviously cancer. NASA is working on ways to reduce the exposure for crews, developing new monitors to tell them the types and strengths of the radiation you have up in space. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, we're going to talk about things that happen to the body, i.e. the bones. So it doesn't even dawn on you there's absolutely no gravity in space. Right. So these people are floating around 24/7. And humans are not meant to float around. We are born into a gravitational force.
That's the only thing in space I would like to do.
There is nothing. I can do that here on Earth.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to go to space to do it, but I would like to float.
You can't do that on Earth.
Yeah, you can go in a little machine.
They can't recreate zero gravity on Earth.
Well, how are these people floating around? They practice it.
They can do the...
Yeah, I'd vomit my guts up. My son will ask me all the time, when you go to space, I'd go to space.
No.
I'm like, no. I'm going to die where the sky is blue, the grass is green, I can see the stars through the veil of the atmosphere. I have absolutely zero zilch, no desire to go to space.
No, I don't want to go to space, but I would like to feel what it feels like
I'd like to feel no gravity, but I want to do it here on Earth. Yeah. And those dopes that went up in the rocket, Jeff Bezos' rocket, it was like Katy Perry, his wife. It was the most bizarre thing I've seen because they were all in these like really skin-tight spacesuits. All their hair was done, their makeup's done.
With like the bell bottom.
Yes, they looked ridiculous. And then they come down. I don't even know what Katy Perry was saying, but she was saying some bizarre shit about unity. And I'm like, what did that have to do with the 10-minute space shot you just took? Like, you're not an astronaut. Stop it. These people are astronauts. They got stuck up there for 8 months. She needed a haircut when she came back. Wow. Yeah. Did you see the roots on her when she came back?
It's probably...
Oh, God bless you, honey. I wouldn't have gone on national TV like that.
No, I'm like, no pictures,
I'd have been like,
please.
I'm sick.
Get me a hat.
Yep,
Get
I'm
me a
sick.
hat.
Put my helmet on.
Yeah.
Okay, so besides the hair
Anyways.
and the morons that went up, that irritated me. And they all paid how much money? Of course, the wife didn't pay.
It's like the submarine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just because
you have money.
Imagine if that blew up.
I know.
Imagine if that blew up. And it's going to happen.
Well, the blowback they're getting is what they could have done with that money.
Yes.
To help people.
Yes. You know, all right, I'm really going off topic here, okay? If you took Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and each of them contributed, I don't know, $1 billion a year, you could open a mental health facility in every single state fully funded. Why don't you do that?
Right.
Why are you shooting bozos up into space?
Yeah.
Like, help the people here. Homeless. Like, there's so many things you could be using that money for, and you're blowing it on a bunch of bimbos going up into space. All right, I'm done.
Anyways.
Oh, can you tell it agitated me?
All right. It's stupid. It's a waste of money.
Well, I don't know what it does in breast implants, but I can tell you it doesn't do well on your bones. Okay? So no gravity, that is.
Yeah.
So no gravity means there's no load bearing on your bones, which will cause the loss of bone density. Even here on Earth, as you get older, especially women with osteoporosis, it's not cardio you should be doing, it's weightlifting because your bones need the resistance, which will help keep the density. So it causes because your bones are now kind of like degenerating,
Right.
you get an increase, which I never thought of this, mineral content in your system.
Oh, yeah.
So you get a higher calcium in your urinary system, which causes kidney stones. Can you imagine having a kidney
Up
stone
there?
in fucking space?
No, they must have
You'd hear
morphine
me
on that ship
screaming
somewhere.
here on Earth.
They must have morphine up there. Break glass of kidney stone.
You would hear me screaming from the space station. Okay, so if you don't use with muscles, if you don't use it, you lose it. Astronauts lose muscle mass, strength, and endurance. Their muscles atrophy and weaken. To help reduce this, they have a strict exercise routine. Did you know there's a strict exercise routine?
I mean, in my research, I found out.
I did not know that. They go about 2 hours a day on special equipment used to combat zero gravity. They have treadmills, which blows my mind, where they have...
I feel like I've seen videos of them, like when they, you know how they talk back here.
It's still
like
not
I feel
the same,
like
though.
I've seen them walking on their treadmills.
They are connected to it by bungees and harnesses.
Can you imagine?
No. Wing, wing, wing.
You're doing great.
I can run for miles. They have stationary bikes that have clip-in pedals to keep your feet on, obviously. I'd need that here on Earth. They have advanced resistive exercise devices, which use like vacuums, and they use vacuum cylinders to create resistance for weightlifting, squats, deadlifts, bench presses.
Oh,
You know
that's cool. So they don't need the weights.
I don't want to do that here. Now you're going to stick me in a vacuum to make it hotter?
Yeah.
Make it 30 pounds. Crack it up. No,
That's
I'm good.
cool, though. That they
Yeah,
could do
I mean,
that.
you would think otherwise they would be jelly
Yeah.
when they came back.
Yeah.
Okay, neurologic. Other shit I didn't think about. Lack of gravity throws off your inner ears. I did think of that. It fucks your eyes up.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It screws with your balance and stabilization. Early in space missions, when you're first up there, you'll get disoriented. You can get motion sickness. You don't know where you're going. You get loss of direction. And this is why they're in seats.
Yes.
Because once on Earth, they are immediately forced, like the gravity hits them immediately, and they haven't had it for however long. For these people, it was 8 months. And they'll have issues stabilizing, standing. Their gaze can't focus because it's jumping around. They have problem walking. They have, I wrote something else. I have turning. Maybe turning.
Churning.
Yeah. That's why they immediately sit them in chairs because they're going to fall. I thought it was more because their muscles were atrophied, but it's because their
so
inner ears
dizzy.
are also, Their eyes, they'll have global flattening. So their eyes instead, this is weird shit.
Yeah.
The optic discs can swell and they'll have vision changes.
Yeah.
You can have space-associated neuroocular syndrome, which causes swelling in the back of the eye. Central nervous system, cardiovascular system, it causes a loss in blood volume. So you'll have an orthostatic, which that's when your blood pressure is off if you're standing, sitting there. So they'll have orthostatic intolerance. They have no aerobic capacity and they'll have increased heart arrhythmias because of it. The heart isn't working as hard, so it can atrophy, which again, you don't think about it. So it can atrophy, it gets deconditioned. And it can be a problem when you come back to Earth because you could overexert that heart real quick until you can build it back up. So your GI system, no gravity means no pooping. Not only that, where do you put all of it? Yeah. Where is all that going? That's what I'd like to.
There's got to be a vacuum for that.
Are they dumping it into space?
Yeah, probably.
It's radioactive shit. Literally. So the gravity, it decreases their mobility. I would be done.
Yeah, I would die of a bowel.
Done. My bowel would explode. Environmental effects. Noise exposure during the launch flight. Landing can cause hearing loss. Because imagine
that's
how
gonna
loud.
be brutal.
Imagine how loud it is in that. Excuse me.
Yeah, but
you're in the rocket. You're not. It's loud when they're standing miles away from it. Imagine
they wear those on a flight deck too, but
my
still
husband's
lose their hearing.
Yeah, my husband's deaf as a haddock.
Yeah.
What? Well, maybe he's selectively deaf sometimes. Okay. Not being on your feet, you lose the calluses on the bottom of your feet, which we all.
Yeah.
They actually have calluses on the tops of their feet from hooking in. There's little hooks on the space station, so they're not always floating. So they get calluses on the tops of their feet. So they come home, they got to regrow all that shit.
Ugh.
They also get like skin irritation because there's microbial growths and they have a lower immune system up there. So they get a lot of skin rashes.
Oh.
That's about 10 reasons right there.
It sounds very
on top of the other 5 I have.
It's
Never
top
to
of
go to
just
space.
being in space.
I have no desire to ever go to space.
I've never understood it.
So take it away, Laura.
All right. Well, I got mine from npr.org. So I'm talking. So the NASA astronauts that were up there for 8 months were Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams.
She's from Boston, isn't she?
Around
the
here.
Boston area.
Yeah. So they actually spent more than 9 months on the International Space Station. They were only supposed to be there for about a week.
I would be bullshit.
A week.
I would be bullshit.
A quote unquote comprehensive reconditioning process for recovery was initiated once they landed back on Earth this March. So the second they landed, this comprehensive program started. Once they landed, post-mission recovery and medical teams met the astronauts and transported them to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. There they underwent a, quote, progressive 45-day post-mission recovery program that includes
45 days. So she's still not in her house for 45 more days.
That includes medical and performance testing, participation in studies, because obviously they're going to study the crap out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And a structured reconditioning program. They work for 2 hours a day with trainers on a personalized recovery plan, because like he could be different than her, like what they need, to work back towards the fitness levels they had before they went on the mission. NASA states that generally most crew members' physiological status systems recover within the 45-day time frame. Usually they are completely recovered.
Like a long time. Think about it.
A month and a half.
Yeah.
Dr. Natasha Cho is a NASA flight surgeon, and she oversees the crew members' healthcare and says one of the first illnesses she looks for upon the return is motion sickness. Like that's like boom.
Oh, yeah.
What it like can
imagine like you've been floating around 8 months
and then boom,
you're hit with gravity.
Because like you said, the NES basically shuts down with weightlessness. When the sense of gravity is reintroduced, imbalance is extremely common. One astronaut, Leland Melvine,
I like the name Leland.
says he has done like, I forget how many days in space, like 500 something days in space.
Wow.
He says because the vestibular system was out of whack when you land, like if you're trying to walk straight, you start to curve and then you can't stop but go into the curve and then you fall over.
I'd be vomiting.
Yeah.
Vomiting.
He's like, you're walking straight and then it curves and then you like you can't stay up. So to combat that, they have to like purposefully walk straight in a line and then it's like a military march and then turn left. You know, like not like lean.
Gradually.
Like they have to boom, turn left. Like, so then they're going straight left and then they have to boom, turn right. You know,
every
like
time it starts curving on
anytime they have to like move, like if you were walking around the table, like you curve
gradually,
around the table, they have to like walk to the table, sharp turn.
Wow.
Because if they curve, they'll just kind of fall over.
Like they're drunk.
Yeah, and they have to do that till that vestibular system normalizes. I'm like, so they must look like they're marching, like in formation. Yeah.
Imagine what happened to you up there.
He also said that when he was home in bed after one of the missions, he forgot he couldn't float because they're so used to just floating.
How are they sleeping up there?
I think they hook them. I think they hook down.
But still,
I know.
No pressure sores, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So he's in bed. He's forgetting he doesn't float now. So he wakes up and he has to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. The lights are off, whatever. He's like, okay, I'll just float over. And he goes to push himself up off the bed to float because they just have to like push off things to float, thinking he's just going to float to the bathroom. And he obviously didn't. And he ended up falling out of bed. But he's like, oh, I didn't, like, I'm just like trying to float. He was not allowed to drive for a week after returning to avoid the possibility of passing out or falling over while driving. I think it would
be longer than a week.
I would too. He wasn't up there, like, he wasn't part of this one that was up there for 9 months. Like
500 days is over.
Not consecutively.
Oh,
like he's done 500 days in space.
I thought you meant at one time. I'm like, that's a lot longer.
No. But like when he comes home, like they can't drive because like they have orthostatic hypertension. Like, so they're sitting up and they go bloop, pass out, or just fall over. Mm-hmm. Along with flight surgeons, astronauts receive care from schedulers, nurses, nutritionists, trainers, psychologists, research scientists, radiation specialists, toxicologists, audiologists, and more to help them readjust to Earth life, family life, and to regain their health. They were saying like they have to, like they're pretty much just told what to do all day, every day. They have physical therapy for the muscle atrophy and the bone density lost. And those exercises may include squats, deadlifts, and bench presses, as well as dietary supplements because you've lost
you
bone
build
mass.
all that shit up.
They need physical therapy and balance training to regain their equilibrium. This is usually why the astronauts, like you said, are placed in chairs when being removed from the shuttle. They're not sick or anything. They just
I thought
can't
they just
stand
couldn't
up.
stand up because of muscle atrophy. I didn't realize, like, it never occurred to me all the stuff that would happen when you don't have gravity.
Along with physical therapy, cardio training and weightlifting are mandated. Astronauts will have proprioceptive training to help their brain learn how to respond to sensory input, which will improve their balance. This may include balancing on one leg, using a balance board. Sumo squats is where, like, think of a sumo wrestler. You turn your feet out and you lift one up and then the other one. They have to do that. Bird dog, which is like when you raise one arm and your opposite leg. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, which is a technique that uses sensory stimulation like touch, visual cues, and verbal instructions to improve muscle recruitment and motor function. Basically, it improves balance and coordination and lets them know where their bodies are in space. Like, it's hard for them to be like, oh, my arm's over here. Like because they're so, everything's so off balance, off-putting. They don't know where they are in like the space of the room.
Right.
So they have to retrain themselves to do that. It takes obviously a huge team and months for these astronauts to get, like, quote unquote, back to normal.
I can't.
No. Like, you have to learn how to balance again.
The sleeping. All right. I need like a weighted blanket. Like, I need weight on me. When I'm floating around, like.
I know. They must strap them down.
Yeah, but how tight am I strapped into this thing?
Yeah.
You know, you just bounce. That's true.
No.
Now pooping. Like, where do we sit? We strapped into the toilet?
Enemas or something.
Ugh.
What do they do? They have to. They would have to do something.
I don't know.
They can't leave them.
Yeah, but how are you physically going? Like, are we strapped to a toilet?
Yeah, they must strap them down. They must.
Click, click.
Yeah, or maybe the foot things. You know, like
yeah, but then your ass is up in the air. You're floating.
They must have a seatbelt.
I mean, that's taking hovering to a seatbelt.
Astronauts use specialized vacuum toilets to eliminate waste in space. The toilets
suck you onto it.
That sounds just like.
Sounds like it'd suck your colon out.
I think that's just to get it out of them.
To prove astronauts use thigh straps to sit on a small toilet and keep a tight seal between their bottoms and the toilet.
Well, if it wasn't a tight seal, it would float out. You'd have to stop it from floating out. Can't you just see it? You could have
just seen that visual or the urine coming out of the toilet.
And it just like stays together.
Like, it'd be like
little balls of
urine. Just bloop, bloop. Oh, imagine vomiting up there.
Oh.
And like it's chasing you around.
Although, yeah, I guess it wouldn't be as like wet.
No, it'd be clumpy.
Yeah.
But now like it's in there, like, and the smell.
Oh.
How do
I wonder if it smells the same.
Oh, I think smell wouldn't change. It doesn't say anything about your nose.
No, I know, but like I wonder if something with the atmosphere or something like.
And how are we showering? Are we bird bathing for 8 months?
I'm assuming. Oh, I don't think they're very clean up there.
Imagine the smell.
No. And you have to work out 2 hours a day.
Nope.
I mean, maybe it's just like they have wipes.
But
yes,
it's not
enough.
8 months of wipes.
No, it's not enough.
It
was only supposed to be a week.
When I'm gonna vacuum seal to a toilet,
and it was only supposed to be a week. They only had enough wipes for a week.
A week. Like, what do you do about your rent, your dog? Like,
yeah.
And they had no idea when they were coming back. They didn't have a date of when they were coming back.
It was just pushed off.
I would be homicidal. I'd be like, all right, who am I killing first? Who's going down?
Yeah.
8 months.
There has to be a lot of meds on that space station.
Imagine they're just all on LSD floating around. Shit.
They have to be on something. You'd have to give me something.
You know,
I would have freaked out.
No, like, because you're not seeing a sunrise. You're not seeing a sunset. No blue skies. No trees. Everything's machines around you.
And you're with the same person.
There's no...
No, they probably brought like one book.
I know.
Yeah.
I'd have my 4 People magazines for 8 days, and that wouldn't have been enough. I'd still be reading about like Meghan Markle and Harry split, and it's like 5 years old.
Then you come back and you're like, they're together? What do you mean? They split 45 times.
Did you see he's trying to get back with the royal family now?
I don't know.
Because he lost the case about he wanted security.
No.
Look at, honey, you left. You're not getting shit. And now he wants to reconcile. Doesn't say anything about her reconciling. Just saying.
Well, it's his family.
Yes, but she's, quote, married to him still.
No, I know.
I think they're getting a divorce. I think they're in the midst of a divorce.
You do?
I do.
All right.
Remember they were taking that personal split for professional reasons?
They took a professional split.
Yes, they're splitting. I don't care what she calls it. Okay. Put lipstick on that pig. It's still a pig. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, that's it for today with the astronauts.
And Meghan Markle and Harry.
And Meghan Markle. I got a complaint from Paul. He asked that we make longer episodes. These aren't long enough. But he's just going to have to keep complaining, Paul, because we're doing the best we can.
Paul.
Really? Give us some topics. I said, well, if you want a longer episode, give me some juicy shit to put my teeth into. He hasn't.
I mean, what do you want?
Do you know what he just texted me? Yeah, Paul, I'm talking about it. How great black lentils are.
Well,
This is the random.
Does he want us to do an episode on black lentils? And does
This
he
is
think
the
it will be
random
long?
shit. Like whatever thought comes in his head comes out of text. Some people it just comes out their mouth. It comes out of text. I love you, Paul. You're one of my favorites. So on that note, I believe next week we're kicking off the world famous summer series.
It'll be Memorial Day next week.
Buckle up. Oh my God, it's Memorial Day next week.
Mm-hmm.
Buckle up. Mm-hmm. We have a wild month.
It's a lot.
I have a confirmation, dance recital, last one ever. We have graduation party.
Proms.
Hopefully my son's coming home. I haven't seen him in as many months as they were on the space station. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a wild.
It's a lot.
It's going to be a wild ride. Yeah. And my husband thought it was a good time to go on vacation. Yeah, well, I'm going to be all by myself. We're going to have to girls' night at the fire pit.
I feel like you're going to need support.
Oh, yes, because my vacation starts while he's away in Roatan.
Yeah. Mine does too.
Yeah, I know. What? All right, so that's why we're actually recording a bunch of episodes tonight, so we can be free to do what we need to do. So we will see you in 2 weeks for the world-renowned summer series. Bye. Summertime. Okay, Mike, we're done.
Like, subscribe, rate, and review the Scissors and Scrubs podcast on whatever podcast app you listen to us on. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scissors and Scrubs. And email us any of your stories or thoughts to scissorsandscrubs@gmail.com.